everybody. Clearing. Masks off. Okay, so today we're going to dive into what are the masculines doing in their 3D world? What is it that we can see that the masculines are navigating as their cutting edge? What is the... I'm giggling because I want to say, what is the new alpha cutting edge on the planet? What are these masculines experiencing today? Thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest and most beneficial information coming through for the beautiful twin flame collective that joins me here. What is it that we can see? Okay, we are getting the Lovers and Princess of Swords, along with that Ace of Wands from yesterday. So the Lovers, children of the voice divine. How beautiful when we're talking about the new alpha, the new cutting edge of masculine leadership on the planet, being the voice of the divine. I love it because the last few weeks we've been seeing the twin flame divine masculine, King of Wands, stepping into the Emperor shoes. And here's the Ace of Wands from yesterday. This is the divinely guided spark. This is, remember, we had the Devil and the Ace of Wands yesterday as the whole range that's accessible to the masculine, up for their contemplation. Masculines, what will you choose? Everything is available to you. Princess of Swords, Princess of the Rushing Winds, that's the winds of change. The masculines are bringing mighty winds of change to the planet, and they are looking for ways to have this divinely guided, inspired direction. Okay, very, very dominant theme. Oh, I just turned the Ace of Wands in the upright, so let's take that. What can we see as clarification? I'm actually being told, let's see what the feminines can, how the feminines can integrate this aspect that the masculines are bringing to the world dimension, the earth dimension. Seal of individual vision, psychic vision, hidden meanings, and dream reading. Wow, that's an interesting message, because as the masculines are consciously bringing through the voice of the, I'm hearing higher dimension, interdimensional wisdom, feminines, you may be experiencing dreams. I've started to see that in the comments in the last few days. Lots of people having dreams of their twin. So dream reading, but regardless, there is a leveling up as the masculines take conscious leadership to be the voice of the divine, to speak for the eternal. That's causing a growth, acceleration in the feminines as far as discernment of archetypes and psychic visions. How cool. And galactic council crest, spiritual sovereignty, astral travel, and timelessness. Look at the graphic on that. It's so, I want to say portal-esque. But this is the recalibration to those things that bring us outside of the mental constructs, the projection of the 3D, and remind us that it's all a stage for this consciousness. Huge themes coming through lately, but spiritual sovereignty. Don't believe everything you think. Don't believe everything you see. Unhook from the assumptions of the 3D reality. This is the bell ringing that's bringing it back to the essential. We are consciousness. And that, in and of itself, is the message of the divine. Dimensional planes of perception number 5, spiritual strength, virtue, and valor. Spiritual sovereignty, spiritual strength. So this is the dawning of a new era, a new age, where spirituality is the alignment, or let's say the ethereal, the eternal, is coming back into focus. We are grounding into that reminder rather than getting caught up in the kaleidoscope of the 3D and buying into that too heavily. So the masculines are here to remind that we are larger than life, that life is larger than our 3D concerns. Okay, so what is it that the masculines are thinking about this connection from that orientation? Thank you, Divine Creator, for showing us what are the masculines thinking about their twin flame connection. What are they feeling for their Divine Feminine on the heart space? What are they wishing for the connection? What actions are they taking that will align most sincerely to union frequencies? Saw the Lovers again. Yeah, Lovers with the Queen of Pentacles, the partner in the physical. What is the biggest challenge at this time? What is the spirit-guided solution for that challenge? And where is this thing going in the near future? Okay, so what are we getting? What are the masculines thinking about the connection? Here's that moon energy. Wow, and the 8 of Swords. So continuation of yesterday. We did see for the feminine advice yesterday, the moon came out with the King of Cups and all that watery knowledge of the depth of this connection, the unlimited access to emotions. What didn't come through that I actually got a nudge to revisit, and I'm glad this card came out today, was that the masculines are opening up their Akashic remembrance of the depth of the subconscious. So it's all sort of the veil between the subconscious and the conscious mind is, let's say, healing or dissolving or bridging as they allow themselves the freedom to step out of the mind. The depth is returning. The ocean is becoming visible. And so this is a bit of a choppy seas card. It's catalytic. It is a welling up of what really matters. And Divine Feminine is the moon. So masculines are not willing to hold themselves back with their Divine Feminine because they are accessing this within themselves. It's more relatable now. It's way more relatable. Very cool. Okay, so on the heart space, what is it that the masculines are feeling? Aw, 9 of Orbs. This is the 9 of Swords after the 8, so there's a bit of a progression here, but this is definite anxiety. This is the card we got for the masculines yesterday about slaying the dragons, and Page of Pentacles. So anxiety about what is kind in the connection, what they can offer at this time, where they're at. There's a growing tension, a growing pressure in a way. In a 3D older energy, it would be the triggering motion that would cause a masculine to run, I have to say. But as they are evolving to accommodate this responsibility, the accountability to really be the voice of the divine rolling out on the planet, and as they're waiting for divine instruction, inspiration, there is a longing, an urge, a growth spurt, growing pain that the masculines are feeling on the heart space for that eagerness to actually come in, to reciprocate, to say the right thing, to do the right thing. Because they're feeling that nudge from the divine, but don't yet know exactly what this motion is that they're being asked to do. So stay with it, masculines. You will know. You'll have peace when it's time, or as many divine feminines know, when it wells up on your heart space and it becomes more important to just express than to repress, you'll know. You'll know, and that anxiety will give way. But learn to trust that nudge. Wow, I'm feeling for like 55-60% of the masculines out there that they are realizing when they resist, when they hold back, their emotions start to tell them that they're out of alignment with this anxiety, and they're not quite used to activating based on this spirit guidance. They're used to activating when there is a 3D problem to solve. But this new form of following spirit-led nudge is causing them anxiety because they don't want to get it wrong. How interesting. So yeah, masculines, drop into the heart space. This is on the heart space. So if you're feeling this uncertainty about what you're picking up on as far as reaching out, offering something, saying hello even just to your feminine after quite a bit of time, or initiating that, trust it. Stop resisting. It really is you coming into understanding what it feels like to act on intuitive nudges rather than just what meets the eye. Cool. So what are the masculines wishing for the connection? Major decision time. Hanged man, yes or no? What are we doing here? And the 5 of Cups. Yeah, this is tender. So a lot of masculines are realizing that, look at this feminine, she's sort of pining for the lost love, the distance, is this going to come in or not? Masculines understand that feminines have been, I'm hearing waiting, grieving the connection, uncertain about the connection. I want to say disempowered. So the masculines, this doesn't mean feminines that your masculine is accurate, but there is a responsibility I'm feeling here that the masculines are taking a look at how they may have disadvantaged their feminine by not showing up, by not being ready, by not partnering in some way. And so the masculines are seeing the feminine as having emotionality about this connection falling short in some way, and they know they want to do something about that. They just don't fully know what the divine is asking them to do about it, because they're not accustomed to following that inner spirit intuitive guidance. They're more accustomed to responding to needs in the physical. And so this is a little bit of a new one. 5 of Cups is all in the realms of emotions and sensitivities. So this is definitely masculines looking at how to navigate that in a more conscious way. With the Lovers as the underlying energy, that's also following the voice of divine with love relationships and this connection. There's a different sincerity, a different priority that I'm feeling there coming through. Okay, what action are the masculines taking? They're starting to think about the future. They're starting to think about, wow, 5 of Swords to clarify. So they're starting to think about how they have self-sabotaged, how they've tried to keep the peace. This was the card that came out yesterday, that the masculines are really wanting to step away from the anxiety that their own lack of effort has put into situations. They're looking at how they have not manifested certain things in their lives because they have, I'm hearing, played small, taken a step back, sidestepped, avoided. So they're really looking at, what if they didn't do this stuff? What would their life look like? What would that unlimited aspect look like? What could they manifest? Wow, and I'm being reminded that the 3 of Wands and the Ace of Wands that showed up in the basis of this reading equal the Four of Wands, which is twin flame union. So they know that everything they've tried to manifest in their lives has come from this ego place, and that now that the divine is clearly handing them this one wand, that equates to the twin flame union. Wow. So the lovers integrating that inner union, which raises the bar on this stuff that has not prioritized the higher, the depth, the fullness that spirit embodied actually offers into this life. Pretty cool. So what is the biggest challenge at this time? Moving forward on every level. This is a cool card of intention, because in this deck it's the 5D. It's the multidimensionality that runs under the surface of the 3D reality. So it is the conduit, the intention. As they are opening more and more fully, I'm feeling heart opening, third eye opening, sacral opening, crown opening, as they're climatizing into this truly embodied way of emerging. They're starting to utilize all the tools in the toolkit from the spectrum of the masculine, feminine, all the chakras, all the multidimensionality. It's one thing to know about these things, and another entirely to apply it in a consistent enough way that it becomes the way of life. That is the mastery. That's the way. And so this energetic assessment of what can run through reality, what can be brought in, the fullness of the spiritual aspects that can be held within the consciousness as the intrinsic motivation, that's the challenge. It's bringing that in with self-love. Wow. So Ace of Cups, to clarify here, the masculine challenge is understanding the connection between how much they love themselves and how that is directly related to how much of this spiritual flow and awareness that they bring into their every action, every motivation. No longer going through the motions. Now I see why I was asked to take the mask off. Yes, masculines, you are essentially, as you're stepping into being the voice of the divine, that's like saying you're taking your internal mask off. The mask, the veil that shrouds between the subconscious and the conscious, the spirit and the physical, no longer wanting to divide the realms and come into channeling this amount of love. And so many of the things that masculines in an old energy would feel condemned for or would dismiss, I'm hearing really like derogatory things like mamby-pamby, airy-fairy, all those cliche sort of things that the masculine collective has been told is inappropriate to be a man. That's coming back online. That's the challenge, to integrate and blend that stuff with authority, and knowing that that is the soul fire that has not been allowed to equalize within the masculine expression. Yeah, feeling like a rumble, becoming under the surface of that. What is the spirit guidance? Alchemy, the Temperance card. And going forward, this is communication. So the spirit guidance, masculines, is now that you know that these blending of the dimensions, blending of the worlds is what's being asked of you, to come back into your God self, come back into being that voice of the divine. Channeling is our natural way of being. When we're in harmony, when we're at our best, it just flows through us. And so the masculines are being reminded that when you're in that natural state of equilibrium, you can be present, snappy, in the moment. This Knight of Swords card is a very now kind of energy. It's rushing forward without needing to prepare for what you're going to say, is the message I'm getting here. As you embody this level of mastery, masculines, you will be given the words, you'll be given the ability to express in every moment without needing to premeditate or have your shit together. You are coming together. That is having it together, is this divine level of alchemy. I'm being reminded that the Temperance card in many decks has an angel, and that is the angelic assistance. You can be so fully present with spirit in physical form that the angelics support communication, that you are augmented by the Holy Spirit, that you need to pack light, travel lightly, and all things are given in the moment, all provisions. So that means from your heart it will well up, that the proper intention can come through, that you do not need to fear that you won't be received clearly. Here's that fear on the heart space for speaking in the physical. I'm getting a little bit off track, but the message that really needs to come through right now is, masculines, in an old energy, your words were twisted by the disintegrated feminine. In a new energy, when you speak from this, it's recognized. I'm also being asked to say that the feminine collective has evolved and healed so much of the collective disintegration that it is safe, masculines, to speak, to express your tender heart and your knowing. I almost want to cry on this, because there has been so much resistance and resentment from the feminines because of the, let's say, patriarchal oppression, the imbalances, the disintegration, that it hasn't been safe for masculines to speak from that tenderness with feminines because they have not been believed and received. I really feel that spirit guidance today is saying, masculines, go forward bravely and try it, because the feminines have come into accountability with that, so you're more safe now. And I'm hearing it's reached a level of collective awareness that it can actually progress now as a teamwork, so that there is enough consciousness on both parts to see the disintegration for what it is and be able to circumnavigate that as a team, so that that no longer disrupts the conversations of the masculine and feminine. Oh wow, this is a really, really good energy, everybody. Okay, so what is the connection doing in the near future? Ooh, 8 of Crystals, specialization, taking it to the next level, bringing in the higher templates and the truth. This is the truth. This is being able to have sophisticated, productive, absolute conversations of clarity. This is huge conversational energy coming in. The seeds are being planted, the frequencies, the collective energies have just reached a point of no return to the disintegrated ways that used to disrupt conversations, everyone. We are reaching a new level of clarity. We're not having to rehash the disintegrated templates anymore. We're finally at a place of expertise that we can become productive. Masculines and feminines can actually meet each other on the soul level. I'm hearing meeting of the minds, round table, diplomacy. It's coming in, everybody. This is innovation. This is energies coming in so that we can truly be unified again as halves of the yin yang, the big picture, the other half of each other, and be able to accurately reflect the appropriate giftings of each energetic alignment of the feminine and the masculine. Whoa. This is a good day. We've reached a marker. Okay, for the feminines, we're getting divine healing. Yeah, that's the message that just came through, that there has been enough healing of the divine feminine that the feminines are no longer going to bite the masculines' heads off. That there is actually that recognition that it's safe, everybody. We can come together. We can find progress now. So for feminines, honor your sensitivity. Retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. This is an interesting can of worms, because for the last couple of weeks I've had a huge theme in private readings for the divine feminines that the high priestess energy is the divine feminine gifting. It is the divine feminine leadership. It's first in line to the spirit dimension. It is the intuitive aspect that brings things through the conduit of heart. It's before words, it's the feeling, it's the knowing. And that is the spontaneity and the innovation that the patriarchy was challenged by, because you can't predict that degree of intuitive, in the moment sensitivity. And so it hasn't been safe for the feminines to bring that through. One of the analogies that has really impressed upon me is that in a slightly older energy, even when divine feminine premonitions, intuitions would come through in a natural state, that is to protect the ones we love. And when the feminines would voice something bad could happen, or they had a bad feeling about something occurring and tried to advise that they cautioned against something, that if that event actually came to be, the feminine was accused of cursing the situation, or the power of suggestion, or having some sort of supernatural power over the chain of events. But really, it was the feminine intuition and the heart to protect and nurture and foresee, to be divinely guided, and to bring forward that protection that way, that leadership. It wasn't safe for the feminine to bring that through. They were accused of manufacturing the negative result. In a new energy, now the feminine, so that is not necessarily always the only way that light is expressed, but a perfect example of how it is now becoming safe, because the intuitive aspects, the multidimensionality, is emerging as credible. It's coming through as more valid. And so it's no longer being feared, it's being validated in a way that it can support others. That's not the only example of how it comes through. Let me sit with it and see what is another higher aspect. Innovation. So as the feminine's light is also being validated, the masculine is seeing that the inclusion of the feminine intuition for future manifestations can come in with safety and fire. The soul fire of this Ace of Wands. Remember, this is also the sacral, the sexual connection, and that's the merging of the two. That physical union, the sexual merging of two, becoming one flesh. There is a sacred empowerment behind a sexual connection that's divinely guided, that takes the hard work out of the masculine. The masculine has resisted the amount of burden and work that they've been asked to do in a disintegrated paradigm. Wow, this reading is profound. Okay, so the masculine has had a cross to bear because of the imbalances. And as the feminine is coming back into leadership with this intuition, that's the missing piece. So masculines, this sensual, spirit-guided energy that your feminine brings to the table, alleviates the mental stress that you have placed upon yourself, and it's collective, so please don't personalize this, masculines. That burden, that not knowing how to take it to the next level, is directly proportionate to how much resistance of this divine feminine energy was at play. And the mirroring that the feminine was offering back to the masculine in a disintegrated energy was showing a vote of lack of confidence and untrustworthy energy. Oh, this could be a whole series of videos just on that dynamic. But as you are integrating the feminine knowledge of intuitive and intentional frequencies under the surface through self-love, masculines, you're also recognizing you don't have to carry the karmic burden of having to figure it all out on your own, of having to force the realms of logic into the world. Aside from, like, I'm feeling the feminine disintegration and how much of an energy suck that nagging energy is. The disconnect, the fear of the feminine, the fear of not being heard from the feminine. There's been a lot of wasted energy. So just going to bring that back in. Kudos to anyone who followed all of that. Hopefully it's clear. There was a lot of density coming through to be exemplified there about the amount of healing that the feminine collective has done, so that the divine feminine energy can truly come in and be supportive rather than pointing out all of the disintegration. Because isn't that what the nagging things have been? It's the feminine exasperated, trying to point out what isn't feeling right on the heart chakra. And now that that's out of the way, we've got this opportunity for clarity and going forward. So let's see what the masculines need to see. Lady Venus, downloads and understanding. Yeah, here's the goddess Venus in true divine form, being seen for the downloads and understanding that can be brought through masculines. So truth is being revealed, deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realm. Exactly, this is the 5D, the astral. The chariot is the intrinsic motivation that comes through that portal of the divine knowing, the crown chakra. But also we've got lots of sacral chakra with that Ace of Wands stuff going on here. So I've said many times that the sexual disintegration of the sacral chakra knocks out our ability to feel ecstatic recognition of divine will. The divine is the bliss, the absolute ecstatic recognition of the joy of the cosmos. If we have numbed out because of sexual disintegration, gender disintegration, the yin-yang imbalances, we numb that. We can't recognize that heightened, ecstatic understanding. And so this is another testament of that level of healing that comes through the sacral chakra when we're channeling divine wisdom. The most creative divine wisdom is very feminine in its attributes because it is so creative in its sensitivity. Having said that, the masculine optimal frequency in creation is the actively bringing it through. So you see in that analogy, we have the heightened sensitivity of the feminine and the heightened activation of the masculine hand in hand. I'm hearing in holy matrimony, that is the alchemical formula that brings through accurate discernment, that brings through deep insights and the highest potentials. Woof. So yeah, that is what allows for presence in the moment of these manifestations. Where was the card that was clarifying? That's what takes the burden off. That's the harmony of the feminine and masculine that unlocks the potential. So you're doing this within, masculines. as you embody self-love, but you're also recognizing who that divine feminine is in your life that can take you there in your physical realm manifestations, the one that you are meant to be doing those things with. So that energy is anchoring everybody. This is a little bit of another big reading, lots of heavy hitting stuff coming through for the collective. This is such a deep, encouraging knowing that things are about to get off the ground. Communication, recognition. I'm being drawn back to this fear on the heart to get it right that the masculines are experiencing. So masculines, if you've watched this, really understand that feeling of going to burst if you don't find the way forward soon, that's going to be alleviated as you drop into understanding that your feminine is safe, that the two of you have been working this karmic puzzle, and feminines have hope. Your masculines are starting to see energy this way. We're all starting to come into it. I know this reading has kind of shifted my own belief in that we are getting there, because these are the energies we've all been wishing for, and I'm seeing it as evident in today's reading. So congratulations, everybody. This is a beautiful, beautiful indicator that we are making strides. Okay, many blessings. Bye for now.